Hey guys, RADFLIKINC'S back with another video. I was going to do my top 5 favorite horror films, but as you can tell by the title, that's not what this video is going to be. A viewer of mine did request that I do my top 5 favorite horror films, because the last video I did was the top 5 favorite horror films that the whole world loves but I don't, and then he was curious about what my top 5 favorite horror films were. If I was going to do that video, I would do top 10, but I decided not to do it because even though I do own a lot of horror films, I feel like I don't own enough still, and I haven't seen enough to really make that decision yet. I would really like to do that video later down the line when I've seen more and I own more. So yeah, as you can tell by the name of this video, this is going to be the top 10 horror movie sequels, in my opinion, that I own in my collection. So if I left something out, it's either because I don't feel the same way you do, or because I don't physically own the movie in my collection. So these are going to be in no specific order, besides maybe alphabetical. And one thing I want to say before I do continue with this video is I don't have any of the Dead films, George A. Romero's Of the Dead films, because Romero himself does not consider any of his Of the Dead film sequels, since none of the major characters or story continue from one movie to the next. So that's from the mouth of the director. So since he does not consider them sequels, I'm not going to consider them sequels, so they will not be included in my list of best horror movie sequels. But let's get right into it. And the first best horror movie sequel in my list is going to be Army of Darkness. I think in other countries they even call this Evil Dead 3. Even though in my last video I did kind of, not bash, but I did talk about how I wasn't a huge Evil Dead fan as most of the world is, and most of the horror fans are. I really like this film. I thought it was super fun. I love when Ash travels back in time. I love the pit bitch. I love Evil Ash. I love the battle at the end with the Deadites. I just thought it was really fun. It could have been a little bit longer. It's really short. I think this one even comes below 90 minutes. But it's just fun throughout. And super funny. Good action. And just really good cheesy practical effects. Good Sam Raimi classic. I actually do prefer this one over Evil Dead 2 at least. I feel like they might be better films, but this one I just had more fun with. So that's my first best horror movie sequel. The next one I got here is Child's Play 2. I really love the original, but I do think this is a very strong sequel. I don't care for Seed, Bride, or Curse, as a matter of fact. Part 3 was really good, but I feel like this is the best sequel. What I really liked about this was there was a lot more location changes. The first one, the original Child's Play, was pretty much just set in the apartment building. And this one goes a lot more different places. I like Chucky's dialogue in this. He's really funny and witty. He gets to curse a lot. Has a lot of good one-liners. And I absolutely love the ending. They end up back in the warehouse, where the factory where they created the good guy dolls, and they have a big battle. And of course Chucky, ends up getting killed. So I definitely love the ending. And just great movie, great sequel throughout. So this is number 2 best horror movie sequels. The next one I have is Creepshow 2. There was the third one of this, but it was absolutely dreadful. I hated it. But I thought this one was really good. Even though this one only has 3 segments as opposed to the original having 5, I feel like even though the other one has more of the original, this one has the stronger 3. This one has the Old Chief Wooden Head, the Raft, and the Hitchhiker. Hitchhiker is one of my favorite ones. It's really funny because he keeps telling her, "Thanks for the ride, lady," and he would always yell at the screen like, "Just say you're welcome. Maybe he'll go away." But it's just really good. What I really like about this, of course, I love George A. Romero. I'm so glad that I could include at least one of his films in this, because he's one of my favorite horror filmmakers. What I like about this one though is these are of course adaptations of Stephen King's short stories. What I really like about this is each segment gives you something different. Like the Old Chief Woodhead is kind of like comedy. The Raft is more like serious horror, and then I guess the Hitchhiker would be like paranormal. But just really good sequel. Like I said, the third one was garbage, but part 2 was really good. The next one I have here, of course, you cannot have a horror movie list without including at least one Friday the 13th, and this is Friday the 13th Part 2. And, this is just, of course, everybody has seen this, so I don't got to talk too much about it. I'm just going to mention mostly the strong points of why I think these are the best horror movie sequels. I'm not going to get too much into talking too much about them. But, with this sequel, I just feel like, who else has made a horror movie slasher, speaking of the original Friday the 13th, where it could be, you know, so loved across the country. Great slasher, the original Friday the 13th. You kill the killer in the end of the film, and you come back in the sequel and you start off with a new killer, and it just gets even better. You know, this is of course super iconic. The introduction of Jason, who was mentioned in the original, while his mother Pamela Voorhees doing all the kills. But you know, just like I said, just to start a franchise, have the original film be so successful, and then all of a sudden you kill the killer and you come back, and usually that'd be the death of the franchise, and you come back with a new killer, and it's just, you know, it's even better, you know. So it's just, you really can't beat that. This is an amazing follow-up to the 1980 classic Friday the 13th. I absolutely love this film. The next one I have here is the next installment of Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. 3D doesn't matter. 3D is just really old school blue and red color manipulation. Anyway, it gives me a headache, so I watch the 2D version of it. But this is definitely one of my favorite horror films, period. I've spoke about it in my earlier films that this is actually one of the first horror films I ever watched in my entire life. What I love about this sequel, of course, is it's super iconic. It has the introduction of the famous hockey mask that Jason dons for the rest of the franchise, and this one has a really good cast, really good kills. Like the Chong guy, he's one of the guys in there. He's like a Chong lookalike. But yeah, just, you know, great sequel. I just feel like these you know, the first three were so powerful. They just kept getting better and better and better. The fourth one was good too, and after that, you know, pretty much a decline. But you know, I still do own all of them. They're all fun, but I feel like the first three are definitely the strongest installments into the franchise. And like I said, this one, of course, being the introduction of the hockey mask. So, gotta have that. Next top horror movie sequel is Halloween 2. Love this sequel so very much. I remember seeing it actually the first time on TV, and really enjoyed it. So definitely couldn't wait to own it. Took me a while, of course, because I didn't start collecting until I was much older. But definitely when I got this doing it again, and it's just, I loved it as much as I did the first time. Things I really love about this is the fact that it picks up right as the first one left off in the original. So you feel like, you know, you're not really missing anything. They don't skip ahead. Kind of feels like one long movie. I love that they bring back Sam Loomis. He was such a, you know, great character. Donald Pleasance, of course. So they bring back Sam Loomis, and I thought that was a great idea because he did a good job in the first one. Great job. So it's good to see him back. I like the whole hospital aspect of it. I love the POV shots in the beginning. It makes you feel like you're in the movie. Just super great follow-up to the classic original 1978 Halloween. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back was a plus too. Definitely great sequel, one of my favorites. And just like I did with Friday the 13th, I'm going to follow Halloween 2 up with Halloween 3. Definitely love this film. Of course, you know, it gets bashed on by most people. I feel like if you just give it a shot, it'll grow on you. You got to do what a lot of people say, which is basically don't think of this as a Halloween. Just think about it as its own film. To me, it feels like a really wacky 80s. Strange kind of paranormal film. You know, I don't really think of it as Halloween. Technically, it is a sequel. That's why I'm throwing it in here, because it is one of my favorite horror movies. Period. Not just only in the Halloween franchise. Things I like about this: I love Tom Atkins. I love all the horror movies he does. He always does a really good job. I also love the way the movie opens. The fact that it just kind of opens in the action. You don't really know what to expect. Sometimes when you watch a movie, it doesn't matter what genre it is. Within the first, 5, 10, 15 minutes, you'll know if you like the movie or not. And this movie just, I don't know if it's just me, but it really captures me because it just jumps straight into the action, throws you into the movie. You don't really know what's going on. There's a man running around the streets at night, and he's being followed by a car with black suited men. And it's just really kooky, and I love the whole mask idea. I'm really curious to see how the franchise would have ended up if they would have went this direction, since John Carpenter's initial ideas was to continue the franchise like this, but of course he ended up getting bashed for this one and just went back to Michael Myers, and we all know how that ended up, but definitely love Halloween 3. The next one on my list is one of my favorite franchises as well, and this is my favorite entry into the franchise, and this is Phantasm III, Lord of the Dead. I actually do prefer this over the first and the second original Phantasm. The first one, to me, was really good, definitely classic. Second one, same thing. But this one I really like. The characters being older really makes me feel like they're more believable in combating the tall man. I do like that Don Coscarelli always brings back the original cast with Mike and Reggie and all that. And what I really like about this is just the concept, the fact that they're kind of like turning the tables on Tall Man. They're stalking him, so they get in Himikuda, and the guy makes a quad barrel shotgun. How could you beat that? And follow his, basically go from town to town, following the trail of Tall Man, because he always leaves towns like ghost towns. And it's just really, really good action, a really good concept. I love the little foster kid they pick up in the middle. He throws down with the best of them, and then also the black chicken. This is really good. Just definitely my favorite entry into the Phantasm. Can't get enough Tall Man. The next entry in the best horror movie sequels is going to be Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Definitely, this is not better than the original, although some things I do like better about it. But definitely the original is the superior film. But I really love the sequel. I got it in the green case. It's just an Xbox case. Just something I thought would be funny to do, like the Troxon canister or whatever. Definitely strong points about this. Just when I was a kid, I saw this, and it just really touched me, because, I don't know, just something about it when I was a kid, even to this day, like horror movies that don't have a lot of parental supervision and are kind of in secluded areas, makes you feel like, you know, the kids, you know, got to do it on their own and all that, and it's just really fun to watch as a kid, and I still get kicked out of it today. I feel like certain things work, and zombies are one of them. Zombies can work both ways. They can be super scary, or they can be, you know, very, very funny. You know, they work in comedy too, because, you know, you could kind of hit them and they, oh, or, you know, or they could be serious and they could be running at you and killing you. So I feel like it works both ways. So I definitely love the horror zombies and also love the comedy zombies. They really work good in comedy here. I love the way the director brought back the two characters from the original. I can't really remember their names right now, but how they bring them back and they're going through the same thing all over again with turning into zombies slowly and complaining and screaming. It's just really, really fun. Definitely, like I said, the original is definitely the superior film, but with those aspects that I mentioned, I definitely feel like this is a very strong sequel. I wish they would have had Tarman come back, but still really good without him. And the final top 10 horror movie sequel on my list, going to probably be the most debated. And like I always say, you know, if you don't agree with me, this is just my opinion. You could definitely leave some comments and ask the reasons whether you do or do not agree with my choices and the reasons why I chose them. But this is definitely going to be the most debated. But you got to hear me out, and it's going to be Scream 4. Now, the reason I selected this is I feel like the first one, I love the first Scream. The following sequels were very good, but I feel like they were sort of predictable. The second one, you know, of course, Neve Campbell's character, Sydney, is going to go to college. That was obvious. The killer's going to be somebody close to her again. But I feel like this is really my favorite entry besides the original, because of the fact that, first of all, the original, the second sequel, or the trilogy or whatever, was released in 2000, the year 2000. This came out in 2011, so there's an 11-year gap there. And you would think with so much time in between that the movie would come out and be kind of watered down and would really flop. But you know, I don't know how it did at the box office, but I felt like it was still very relevant. You know, the way they wrote it, Kevin Williamson coming back to write and Wes Craven coming back to direct was a great idea. Bringing back all the original cast was great, at least the people that survived. But also introducing new young characters, new young actors and actresses such as Hayden Panettiere and I think Rory Culkin was good for, you know, the young cast, and also the little things they did like with Twitter and Facebook made it relevant for the kids today. But then also, like, you know, having the old cast and crew come back made it relevant for the fans, myself, that grew up with these films. So I felt like it was really good. I like the fact that they didn't change the Scream costume or the mask. A lot of horror movies that have been doing remakes or late sequels always tweak something to make it fresh or new. I like the way they kept it just the same. So yeah, it's just, you know, just great sequel. And there's you know, there's not too much more I can say about this. But I just do feel like it is the best sequel. I bet a lot of you are not going to agree. But like I said, just for the fact that the gap was so big, but yet it's still so relevant, and stayed pretty much the same, and everybody coming back was just really great for me. It made it a really enjoyable sequel for that reason. So that is it, guys. That is my top 10 horror movie sequels list. Whether you guys agree or disagree, I hope you thumbs up the video and drop me a comment. Definitely, we can debate about my decisions and the reasons on them. And until next time, later.